Is this thing on? Don't you love when people say that? That's right, everybody. Welcome to the first KGHS variety show. We are about to get started. Let's see who is up first. First, I need some intro music. Okay. Let's see here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the first annual, or maybe semi-annual, KGHS radio show. Here we are with Aiden, James, Andrew, Ruby, Catherine, and Clara. First up is Aiden. His segment is called Beyond Willpower, Breaking Bad Habits and Creating New Ones. So take it away, Aiden.
Thank you for having me. Hi everyone, welcome to Beyond Willpower. In this episode, we're starting our journey into a fantastic world of habits. Today, we'll explore what habits are and how they quietly shape our lives. Habits are the routine or behaviors we repeat so often that become almost automatic. Think about your morning. You probably wake up, brush your teeth, make coffee without even thinking about it. That is our habits at work. Our brains are designed to recognize patterns and automate behaviors, which saves energy and frees up mental focus for more complex tasks. Amazingly, researchers show that up to 40% of our daily actions are driven by habits, not conscious decision making. This means that nearly half of our lives is made of decisions on autopilot. Now imagine if we direct that autopilot towards actions that truly improve our lives. The possibilities are enormous. Thank you for listening to Beyond Willpower. In the next episode, we'll dive into strategies for how to build strengthening habits and align with our goals. Don't miss it.
All right, Aiden, that was awesome. Some great advice for sure. I loved it. That was awesome. Good job, Aiden. Okay, up next, we've got James with his segment, Imperfect Perfections, which is a character analysis on antagonists in film. Very excited about this one. So let's take it away, James.
Hello, everybody. My name is James Cruz from KGHS in San Gabriel, California, and today I will be your host for Imperfect Perfections, the show where I talk about various different antagonists from any form of media to see how they make a story better. Here, the flaws are the main focus because imperfect is perfection. Everyone has a different story, so let's find out who our imperfect person is for today. Our focus today is someone who many people may already be familiar with due to the popularity of the movie. Shown in theaters in June 2023 with stunning animation, our character is someone who lost everything he loved twice after an attempt to get back what he lost before. If you haven't guessed already, our imperfect perfection for today is Miguel O'Hara. Oh, such a familiar sound. The sound of the infamous antagonist from the movie Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, where he is portrayed as an opposite of the main character Miles Morales. This creates an interesting contrast because during the movie, we find out that he was not always the way he is currently, thanks to his prior experience where he had suffered the cruel nature of the Spider-Verse, which caused him to lose his entire family not only once, but twice. This happened as a consequence of him breaking what is considered canon after he lost his family, so he then went into an alternate universe where they were still alive. thus leading to the tragedy of the destruction of that universe too. This development emphasizes on the idea of how he was once similar to Miles, trying to protect what he holds dear, but then grew to become how he is in the movie. So Miguel does not wish this pain upon anyone, but has to oppose Miles as a matter of necessity. This is why I think that through Miguel's newfound purpose of enforcing the Spider-Verse, it is what makes him an imperfect perfection of a character. His character can make people question the two different perspectives, which make the story all the more interesting. Despite his intentions, he is still someone who can seem rather controlling to most people. So, others may think otherwise. So be sure to let us know what you think about Miguel and whether he is a good character for the story. Make sure to let us know who you think our imperfect perfection for next time should be. This has been James Cruz from KGHS in San Gabriel, California, and we'll see you next time.
All right, give it up for James, everyone. That was awesome. And you know what? I feel like a Nimrod. I have yet to see the Spider-Verse movie. I love Spider-Man, and I mean, like, that was like my number one comic book growing up, and I still think Spider-Man's the coolest as far as the Marvel characters go. But I don't know why I haven't seen the Spider-Verse yet, but now I'm more excited about it. Okay, so now we're gonna give it up for Andrew. He's got something called Masterful Movies, focusing on one director, what makes them and their films special. And hold on, I'm getting my executive producer is giving me some notes here. Can you do the boom 3 times in quick succession right after you finish your intro before I talk and after I end? Oh, I love it. I love it when when my colleagues tell me how to engineer the show. Actually, this is very helpful, so thank you. So Andrew wants the boom sound. We are going to make the boom sound happen. So Andrew, give me a second to get this thing going, and we will get over to you. So here we go with Masterful Movies with Andrew. There it is. And are you ready, Andrew? All right, let's do it.
Hello, everyone. You're listening to Masterful Movies, the only show, or every episode, we cover a filmmaker and their movies. I'm your host, Andrew Abishami, with my co-host, Catherine Abishami. And today, we're going to be exploring and insisting upon ourselves with a pretty bizarre filmmaker who's both made The Godfather, The Outsiders, and many more movies that you probably didn't even know of. That's right, Francis Ford Coppola. You see, Francis Ford Coppola was bedridden for most of his youth due to polio, where he did small-scale theater productions, to which, after producing a few small films, went off to college to study in theater arts. From there, he went to UCLA Film School and started trying to make a name for himself, till he made his first big film, Dementia 13, a horror film with a plot so absurd it's hard to even explain here. Catherine, what do you have to say about it?
Well, the film starts off as a woman's husband dies in a boating accident. Trying to still claim his rich mother's inheritance, she tries to make her son believe that he's still alive.
Well, that doesn't sound like a horror movie.
Well, here's where it gets interesting. After going to mourn the mother's death, the daughter gets an idea to convince her that she's communicating from beyond. But then it all goes wrong, as the second she goes back out to the lake, she finds the dead daughter's corpse and dies.
And who's the main character anymore? I'm confused.
Well, a detective comes over to find out the details about her murder, before they're killed off, one by one.
Wow, I did not see that one coming. Well, so it's kind of like a horror story then?
Well, yeah, you can say that. But let's save the rest of the plot for those more interested. You can find that on Cinematic, after all.
Well, in that case, that's all for today, folks. Tune in next time for the next episode of Masterful Movies, where we look at filmmakers and their works. But until then, stay ready, so next time you tune in, you'll find another masterful movie.
Masterful Movies with Andrew and Catherine. Wait, this is Andrew's show, right? Catherine was just a special guest. I just want to make sure. Catherine's coming up with her own show, and I believe Andrew will be the special guest for that one. So I hear. This is a rumor. Got to stay tuned to find out for sure, though. Okay, up next is Ruby with Indie Quest Logs, which is all about small, self-made games. So hold on a second, Ruby, before you get started. I want to make sure I change the graphic here to represent you. Whoop, whoop. There you go. Now everyone can see what we're talking about. Indie Quest Logs with Ruby. Yeah, let's take it away.
Hello, I'm Ruby, and today I will be talking about a staple indie game, Undertale, and its creator, Toby Fox. Undertale follows the story of a human child who falls into the underground, where monsters reside, and you need to get out. However, you don't actually have to fight anybody. Defeating enemies isn't necessary if you just negotiate with them. Of course, you can choose not to, but that's for the player to decide. This game attracted many fans. Though small, it had an impact on the many who enjoyed it for its various components. However, this game is just an indie game. You can clearly see that just by looking at it. But even that's hard to do enough. So just how did Toby Fox manage to create this? Undertale, like most indie games, was not made with a big budget. It began with a Kickstarter, in which people can donate money to someone for a project they want to see fleshed out. Toby Fox did more than half of the work with additional help for the art of the sprites in the game, and others who helped give input. He composed all 101 soundtracks, which included titles like Megalovania, and Death by Glamour. A lot of the other soundtracks share similar beats as well, meaning he reused things. Goes to show, it doesn't take much to make something great. This also goes for character illustrations that were made on Microsoft Paint. That's completely free. And the entirety of the game of it was made in Game Maker Studio. That's also free. Undertale was originally made as a challenge for Toby Fox because his other project, Deltarune, seemed too hard to do at the time. When Undertale first came out, its blast in popularity shocked Toby Fox. The game is still quite popular, with it being 9 years old as of now. With its success, Toby Fox is more than able to make up all the donations from his Kickstarter back.
All right. Well, I just learned a whole bunch of stuff I knew nothing about, and that's what this show is all about, right? You know, everyone talk about what they're into, what their deal is, educating us all. Thank you so much, Ruby. That was rad. Okay. Next up, we've got, as promised, Catherine, I just got to change the graphic. Oh, there we go. Looks like we got some courtroom verdicts. For those of you who are into Law and Order, SVU, all those shows that are so popular on the TV. Hold on one second. There we go. Courtroom verdicts, mock trial cases, challenging legal questions that they raise. Okay, I think I know a little bit of the legal system, but everything I know is from Law and Order. So I think we're going to dive a little deeper because Catherine seems to know what she's talking about. So let's get going with Catherine.
Hello, and thank you for that lovely introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine Abershami, and I am the host of Courtroom Verdicts, a podcast, or rather, the only podcast that delves into the world of mock trial, and certainly the only podcast that brings the special guests each episode from the one, the only Gabrielino High School mock trial, which, by the way, was second in all of LA and earned an accommodation by the governor of this area. Today's esteemed guest is not only a master of his craft, but has been participating in mock trial for almost 2 years now. And I have the honor to present the magnificent witness, and unfortunately my brother, Andrew Abershami as Dr. Ray Forrest.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait to discuss the ins and outs of today's trial.
Of course, it's a pleasure having you on my show. Since it seems excitement is too much to handle, without further ado, court is now in session. Let's start with you as Dr. Ray Forrest. For one, how did you end up getting the role?
Well, I tried out. I wanted to be a lawyer at first, but they needed more witnesses, so they asked if I could be a witness this year, and I said yes. As for the trial process, it's different every year. For lawyers, you make a series of direct and cross-examination questions for certain witnesses while being objected to and make objections. And for witnesses, you're usually the one being crossed or objected. In fact, we usually use the case pack of this year to determine the rules, so not only does everyone on the team know a little more about the case, but we get to just know how court will be.
Wow, that sounds exhausting. Let's push a little forward, though. What was prep like once you got the case?
Quite stressful, really. We had to get into know of our characters, figure out their personalities, understand exactly what we were doing, and after all of that, we had to remember what they did about the case without knowing anything else.
Is there anything that's different about your character from the others? And what even is your character?
Well, I'm Dr. Ray Forrest, what would be considered an expert witness. That's because I have expert knowledge on the case, which can help deliver a guilty or innocent verdict.
Does an expert witness mean that you can say more information than others?
Yes, it does, as it means I am not only qualified to speak on different things that happened, but I'm also allowed to speculate on different events that happened, which more witnesses could not often do without being objected to.
Now, since you are an expert witness, do you believe that Logan v. Gold, in this case, who do you believe is guilty? Or do you believe that the defendant actually did the crime?
Well, considering I'm on the prosecution, of course I believe the defendant did the crime.
And do you mind just saying for the record who the defendant is?
The defendant is none other than the man known as Logan Gold, who attempted to run for mayor by sabotaging his opponent and kidnapping them right before the last debate.
I'll fact check you later there. It was his wife, but semantics. Let's move on. Do you believe that the evidence supports it? Because your opinion doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, does it?
I mean, the whole point to me is that my opinion does matter. I mean, unlike yours, of course. But, I have to say that considering the evidence, yes, he is guilty on all charges.
Wow. And with that in mind, everything's coming to a wrap. Andrew, thank you so much for coming onto my show. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to this. Again, this is Catherine Abershami of Courtroom Verdicts. Court is now dismissed.
Wow. Nothing like a little, sibling debate in the courtroom. Perfect. That was lovely. That Law and Order theme was perfect for that, obviously. Man, you guys rocked it. And again, I didn't know, so that whole like mock trial thing that you're talking about, Gabriella High School is like, you said, top tier for that? Holy cats, that's amazing. All right. Again, I'm learning so much. Okay, now, the final segment is Clara with her show, Cinematic. And she actually has brought in her younger sister to co-host this. And let me actually just change your graphics so the folks at home know what we're doing. Boom, boom. There we go. Cinematic is rocking and rolling. So, do. See, I've got the Law and Order thing in my head now. Okay, so Clara, are you ready? Yes. Is your sister ready?
Yes, she is.
Excellent. Okay, I am going to toss it over to you. And just so you know, there is a jet stream and a drum roll that is to be part of this. Just give you the signal for when to play those things. Jet stream first, correct? Okay, cool. All right. Hold on.
Hello, everybody. I'm Clara Gray, and welcome to Cinematic. Today, we will be talking about 3 new movies that just came out recently, at the time of this podcast. I will give my insight and ratings on these movies, as well as our special guest of this episode, which I will introduce shortly. The 3 movies we will be reviewing are Smile 2, The Wild Robot, and Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Let's begin. Smile 2 is the sequel of the first movie Smile, made by Paramount Pictures, which did an amazing job in the box office. After watching the second movie with our special guest, I have a wonderful rating to give. I have to admit, Smile 2 was probably one of the scariest movies this year. It was way more hardcore than the first, and the cinematography was stunning. I would have to rate this movie an 8 out of 10, because of the beautiful work they did on the jump scares and illusions. I think it's time to introduce our special guest, however, so we can see her rating on the topic. Charlotte Gray? Charlotte, what are your thoughts on Smile 2?
Smile 2 made $93 million worldwide and is still growing.
Let's talk about The Wild Robot from Universal Studios, the story with yet another fox that speaks. After seeing great success with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, they decided to continue with this animation style and create this movie, which is getting great feedback. I heard it's inspired by a book series, and after watching it, I think it was pretty sweet. Although this is the 100th movie about a talking robot, the visuals and storyline was incredible, which is why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It was a nice family movie. Your thoughts, Charlotte?
The Wild Robot made a whopping $237 million worldwide, more than double the amount of Smile 2.
And finally, saving the best for last, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the sequel of the well-known first movie, directed by the one and only Tim Burton. I do have a lot to say about the sequel, for although it was very entertaining and hilarious to watch, it was a little clogged up. I feel the dead wife of Beetlejuice didn't really have an important part to play, and the cops at the end were basically useless. However, the rest of the movie was really entertaining, and I really enjoyed it overall. The wedding scene was a chef's kiss. I would rate the movie a 7.5 out of 10. Well, Charlotte, I know you have something interesting to say about our final movie. Go on and tell us.
Beetlejuice made a humongous gross of $443 million.
Thank you all for listening to our Movie Mania. The movie with the best rating today was Smile 2. Stay tuned next time for our second episode, where I will review Moana 2. Message us on what movies you would like to see us rate. Goodbye.
Okay, there we go. And I love the theme song for Cinematic so much. I'm going to use it for my outro theme song. Thank you so much, Clara, and little sister Clara, little sister of Clara, for giving us your take on modern movies in the theater. I agree with you about Beetlejuice. I got to say, I thought the exact same thing. Like, I liked that Beetlejuice had a wife, but like, I didn't really know why she was in the movie because barely anything happened with her. Anyway, not giving away anything for those that haven't seen it. So, there we go. Episode 1 of the KGHS Variety Show. Let me put up the logo one more time for everybody. There we go. So, everyone, I hope you had a great time listening. And the holidays are upon us, and school time is winding down. Get those finals done, get those tests done, get those papers done so you could kick back and relax when the winter break starts. I know that's what I'm doing as soon as this is over. All right, everyone, have a great day, have a great night, and we'll see you next time on the KGHS Variety Show. Woo!